Nothing is likely to derail Iowa State Legislature this session in Des Moines. Governor Kim Reynolds took the oath of office more than a week ago after being elected to the job for the first time. She once again enjoys Republican majorities in both the House and Senate. Reynolds has her ideas of what she wants to see lawmakers deliver. It's not clear whether the Republican leadership there will follow her recommendations as closely as she would like. Governor Kim Reynolds highlighted 8 priorities during her Condition of the State address. She wants to do more for mental health, create a children's mental health system, pass a constitutional amendment to restore voting rights for felons after they do their time, protect companies from liabilities if they hire people with a criminal background. Reynolds wants $20 million for her Workforce Readiness Initiative, another $20 million over 2 years to expand broadband internet, adopt a second amendment to give crime victims constitutional rights, and she proposes $89.5 million in new money for public schools. Some of these are easier to accomplish than others. 2 Iowa State representatives who have a say in that join us for a conversation this morning. Democrat Cindy Winkler of Davenport and Republican Nolan Mumpson of DeWitt. Back at work for both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Let's start with those priorities of the governor I mentioned. The argument could be made she put out olive branches for bipartisanship. We'll get to education in a moment. What about the other points? How much of these do you think can get done this session? What do you like or don't like? Representative Mumpson.
Well, I like a lot of her, what she put forward. A lot of her ideas matched my ideas, and I believe also the Republican caucus at the Capitol. So I'm looking forward to a very productive session.
Anything specific of those priorities that stand out to you more than the others?
Well, basically her budget is the most interesting to me. The more I've been at the Capitol, the more I've found that the budget ends up being mostly the most important thing. We can pass all the policy we want, but if there's no money behind it, it's empty. So the budget is so important, and with what she laid out and her priorities, but she also left the legislature just a little bit of room that we can work on some of our priorities too and still stay within the 99% limit. So I think it's very positive out there.
But you like the constitutional rights for felons, the workforce readiness submission, the broadband expansion, those sorts of things?
I like those ideas, but like for the constitutional part for the felons of voting and things, we have got to make sure we watch out for the victim. I mean, that's my...
And she has that in there as well.
And that's, like I said, that's my key part of being for or against, to make sure we protect the victim.
Representative Winkler, olive branches here, these do seem like that could be open to bipartisanship on these issues.
I think that we can be very bipartisan in regard to those. The budget might be a little bit different. We still are significantly underfunding education, whether it's K-12, yeah. But other than that, I think that we can probably find ways to work together, and that really is our goal. We really would like to work together.
So those 8 issues, there seem to be cross-cutting, there's no real fine lines between differences in the parties. Well, let's get to that issue that is contentious in Des Moines year after year. That is the money for schools. I did mention that Governor Reynolds wants $89.5 million for primary education. That is significantly more than the $32 million increase approved last year. Reynolds' proposal comes out to about 2.3% of an increase. That's not the magic 4% or more that Democrats seem to dream of year after year. This is one area where Republican lawmakers have fallen short of what both Governor Branstad and Governor Reynolds have asked for in recent years. I guess, what do you expect? And if it's not more money, what can be done to improve Iowa's education system overall that has fallen in the national rankings in recent years?
Well, we really should, because there is room in the budget, as Representative Mumpson said, we really should keep our promise to making education the #1 priority. And 2.3% supplemental state aid after abysmal 8 years of supplemental state aid, averaging about 1.8%, just hasn't kept up with the costs that schools are facing. And so we're asked year after year after year to do more with less. The other thing with education is our higher ed and how we're funding our higher ed. The Regent universities are $100 million below FY09 funding levels. So the institutions have to push it on to families and students attending, and we don't want to make higher education so expensive that our own citizens can attend.
Representative Mumpson, what do you expect here? Is it 2.3% likely, or do you think there's room for more, or do you think Republicans will go less than the 2.3%?
Well, I think when you look at just the 2.3% for the SSA, you're looking at such a small part of the picture.
Sure.
Because
but that is the new money, I guess.
No, but there's also more money. If you add up all the new money that the governor had in her budget, it comes close to $150 million. I think it's somewhere close 140 to 150 million. I mean, There's $20 million for her Future Ready Iowa, which is a partnership.
Right, which we mentioned. I
Right,
mentioned
but
that.
that's a partnership between your K through 12 and your community colleges. And the funding level she has in there is the ask. She's fulfilling, if I recall, the ask from the Regents University. So like I said, education is the #1 priority, has been for the past years, and I think this budget that she's put forward, it continues that commitment.
Well, we'll see. That will certainly be the debate for the next few weeks for sure. I know you guys try to tackle education early. We have more ground to cover with Iowa State Representatives Norland Mumpson and Cindy Winkler. Transparency in question, why there's concern state lawmakers could try to do more without you knowing about it, for the record.